Ministry is all set to unveil a first-of-a-kind no-fly list from today.
Yes, they've already made detailed announcements of the no-fly list on who's going to be, whose behavior based on the behavior on which they would be placed on that no-fly list. Here's a word there that's coming from the Civil Aviation Minister on what's really been thrashed out for that list. Let's take a listen in.
What does this entail? And really, what is the thought process behind this? I have with me Civil Aviation Minister Mr. Ashok Gajapathi. Sir, first and foremost, we are seeing for the first time the introduction of this no-fly list for safety and security concerns. What is the thinking behind this? Was it the entire episode involving the Shiv Sena MP that was the cause for this, the trigger for this?
You see, this is not the first time that a civil aviation requirement of this kind has been published. In November 2014, there was a civil aviation requirement published under which the Professor Gaikwad was stopped from flying. That's it. But then when this incident happened, because we found that from 2014 to 2017, this was the only case, and that whole thing was slightly unbalanced. So we have worked on it. We wanted a balanced approach. And through you now we have put it in the public domain. So depending on the suggestions that come, we will address ourselves to all those things and try and get a balanced approach. Now this no-fly list is there in certain airlines. It's not that it is abroad also it is there. But it's confined to the airline and it's more or less arbitrary. An arbitrary type of thing is not good. Let's not keep Professor Gaikwad in mind when we take a decision. Not everyone is Professor Gaikwad. So let us keep that out of this. We need a balanced approach. And that's exactly what we are attempting at.
Sir, the Civil Aviation Minister in the House also, you spoke twice and said that nobody is exempt when it comes to such safety rules. This is present in the CAR as well. But yet, when you raise that issue, of course, pressure from Air India notwithstanding, you were surrounded by, members of your alliance partner. How did you feel at that moment? Did you feel really pressurized when you were get out on the floor?
You see, there will be pressures when you work. Anytime, I've been years in public life to realize that. And pressures are not on what decisions are taken. They both have to be separated. Of course, there was people who were agitated. They felt that Mr. Guy or Professor Gaikwad was an innocent person who was unjustly being done with, or something wrong being done to him. So they were entitled to their opinion. Airlines felt otherwise. And then it was public knowledge of what was happening because nobody was secretive about it. So there were a lot of inputs that came in. And it went on a lot of inputs. So
what kind of inputs?
You kept writing certain things, did wishful thinkings. So I don't have to go and quantify all that right now. So let those things be where they are. We should not be influenced on that type of thing. Of course, Professor Gaikwad was sweet of him to have given me a letter. And that letter, the wordings are there. You can read it.
You held out for 2 weeks. Obviously you held out a very strong stance. And you said this on the floor of the House. So there is no compromise when it comes to safety. But because of the kind of political pressure on you, you were forced to change the stand following the letter of Mr. Gaikwad.
No, there was no political pressure. Nobody held a gun at my temple and said, you do this or you do that.
But you were get out in the House.
Get out in the House. There are so many incidents that happen in the House. That was one of them. No, that's not the thing than which decision.
Did you feel bad at that point of time?
You felt bad in the sense you don't expect your colleagues to be agitating against you. But it happens, It's okay. You face life. That's not the thing. Now, he has written a letter. I had also released it to you, the press. I can give you another copy. You can read it. And in my judgment, I advised the airlines to withdraw their ban. And they were kind enough to, there's no law there. They were kind enough to respond, and they responded.
Right. So, from here on, sir, my last question to you, this new proposal that you brought in as far as this no-fly list is concerned, how soon will we see it being implemented on ground?
You see, this has been put out for public consultation. I think there's a month's time. They'll respond. Then probably we'll take a few days' time to see, sort out what the responses are, and see how much we can agree with it and all, and put it, publish it. That's what will happen.
The last question to you, Pakistan National Airlines is reducing its service from Mumbai to Karachi. Of course, on one hand, there's a version that there's less traffic, but do you think at this time when, India-Pakistan relations are perhaps at its lowest in recent times, do you think this is a significant move on Pakistan's side? Is India thinking of any kind of reciprocation?
You see, the thing is, airlines are free. If they get passengers, they're free to fly. If they don't get passengers, they're free. They can discontinue. Relations between Pakistan and India are turbulent, to say the least, and that's what it is.
Thank you so much for speaking to NewsX. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right, so there we heard what the Civil Aviation Minister really has to say. He was the first one, actually, if you remember, in the Parliament to stand up and say that even a VIP is first a passenger and then anything else. And now, of course, we're looking at a first list of objectionable passengers, the no-fly list that is going to be coming out today by the Civil Aviation Ministry.
Yes, and it is the Ravindra Gaikwad case which has been taken as the prime example to thrash out that list.
And with that,